Daily recap. Daily recap. Gap cap. Friday, August 7th, we are delivering higher prices as expected, but not quite with the velocity that I thought we might. I thought with NFP today we were definitely going to clear these equal highs. I mean, we made a little bit of effort towards that, but not quite that. What did we do today? Well, NFP had us trading higher. And then in New York, we got a pretty decent retrace into this 4-hour FVG, and then from there we commenced longs, but not quite even to the 4-hour external. We had a consecutive candle SMT with ES and that 4-hour external, and failed basically to take it. And since then, we've kind of drifted down from there and have been consolidating basically around equilibrium of this range that we had through the New York session. So we jump down to the 50-minute chart. You'll be able to see that overnight we'd kind of initially consolidated Asia, then started moving higher. NFP here at 8:30 continues the run. At this point, I was thinking, we're probably just going to run higher towards those daily equal highs. But we actually get a pretty decent retrace into that 4-hour FEG, and then from there we get longs. With what shall we start? We shall start with the macro model today. There were two setups that I took. One was terrible, one was pretty good. This is not me coping, saying the losing setup was terrible and the winning setup was good. This is actually facts. I don't actually quite remember. I think the losing setup was something like consecutive. Let me see. I don't even remember what it was. It was pretty ugly. I was here. I think we had consecutive with YM, if I'm not mistaken. And it was right above the 4-hour internal, which is why in hindsight it wasn't good. The reason I didn't clock that is because I kind of saw this setup happening. Like when we were trading down here, I was like, maybe we get a nice reversal from here. And I hadn't clocked the 4-hour FEG yet. And then I went to TopStepX to kind of, type in the limit price before checking, just to be sure that I have the limit ready to go. And TopStepX wasn't working on my laptop. I refreshed it 3 times. Wouldn't work. And then eventually I was like, okay, let me take out my iPad and check if it's working there, or if it's on my end or if it's on TopStep's end. And on the iPad it then worked, and that was basically right when we closed this order block here. So I was already in there, and then I peeped the 4-hour gap below and I wanted to get out, but it was basically too late and I ended up taking a loss. This definitely sounds like cope, but that's actually what happened. Ridiculously enough. Now, I don't actually know what the hell are these from. Oh, they're from this. Okay. So I did not have. Okay. Okay. So I did not have this marked out anymore. That's good to know. Well, that will change right now. So I think we had consecutive with YM. And then we had obviously this bullish order block. That was the idea actually, but like I said, now in hindsight and also during drawdown sight, noticing this, I was like, not a great trade. I'll be very honest. The second setup came here off a consecutive candle SMT with YM after we had this initial run higher. Why did I like this area as a little retrace into continuation? So we had this nice 5-minute gap that we left on this initial higher, and we basically rebalanced that to equilibrium, tap the gap, and then look for a continuation to the external, which is exactly what we got. When we traded down here, we had consecutive candle SMT with YM, right? And we had this nice little 1-minute breaker nestled inside of there, which obviously, as you can see, delivers quite nicely. in this 1050 macro. So would have been a very clean day, I'll say, had I not messed up with taking that first trade. Look at that, I even predicted what candle 2R was at correctly here with my arrow. That's saucy. But yeah, basically kind of messed that up there with this premature long. That was, in hindsight, definitely not a good trade. Quite obviously, the draw was down here, and I should have known better, man. This was bad on my end. Right. Can only blame myself. Now, since we just already had something marked out there, I'm just going to quickly, before we do that, if I start... Okay, those are still selected. Now they're not selected. Yeah. All right, this is going to be a little chaotic because I took a similar setup on the Lucid accounts. I don't know why this is marked out. That's the 5-minute SMT or something. I don't know what this trend line really is. Anyway, we can hide this as well. So those were the macro model setups. After that, 1150, nothing really. And then 1250 was just consolidation. I didn't even really look at that, to be honest. But yeah, what else did we get? Well, after we took this 4-hour internal, I was also eyeing Lucid account trades. Because to me, like, the bullishness was still there. And yes, there was a second trade. Well, there was a first trade that I took. This one that's marked out right now is the second trade that I took on my Lucid accounts, which basically was just that 5-minute retrace to the internal. We actually had a 1-minute breaker form here first, which closed above at like 1046. So slightly pre-macro, and then later we had this 50-minute consecutive with the macro model set up here for longs. Now you'll see the outcome of this trade is a trailed stop loss. I was actually targeting the external because I thought we're probably going to hit the external. And I wanted to hold my one contract, which was all I had on this trade because it was like a 40 point, slightly over 40 point stop loss. And I didn't want to risk like 160. Now, obviously, with the outcome of the trade, risking 160 would have been quite nice because I probably could have partialed above this high here and saved myself 240 on that one con, and then stopped out in profit on the next, and I still would have been up like 300 on the day through that. But yeah, this way I was kind of eyeing this high, slightly over 4R. I actually opened the chart right here, like on my phone. I wasn't watching the chart. I just had alerts set. I opened my phone and literally on a top tick, like phone opening, right? 11:32. I like opened my phone. I was like, nice, we're about to hit TP. Put my phone back in my pocket. Checked later, we were like in this consolidation, and at some point the alert for my trailed stop loss came through. I was very much of the opinion that we probably had hit the external. So not the nicest surprise there. But I thought it was a logical trail point, right? Like I didn't want to trail too aggressively. And if we look here on the 50-minute chart at this push towards the external up here, you can see that we have two 50-minute gaps. So at least giving NQ room to kind of work with the first, maybe the trailed stop loss being somewhere in this second 50-minute gap. And if we look at the 5-minute, the trailed stop loss is this short-term low inside of FVG. And there's two 5-minute FVGs above. So I think this was a very safe stop loss placement for that. Now, technically, had I not done that and I just kept the position with stop loss in place, we actually would have never got stopped out, right? The stop loss was down here. We'd still be in this trade floating through this stupid ass consolidation, which, you know, who knows? Maybe we actually still deliver this later. I, for one, would be surprised. So, you know, but we'll see. I'm fine with the outcome of this, actually. The first trade I took was even before this, which, as we have been doing the past couple of days or this week a lot, we took a propulsion block. I don't know why they just keep being like the only kind of setup that actually fucking happens. But I mean, obviously with here, this was a breaker, so or order block, whichever way you kind of want to put it. So that's not quite true, but like we've been having a lot of propulsion blocks, and once we had this 1022 run into this M1 gap with this big displacement above, I was ready to long this here. Very hectic next candle there, right back through into the propulsion block. And then the next one right away recovers that. And you might be thinking, well, this trade was definitely a loss because I would have went break even at like 2R. We didn't quite reach that. But what I actually did was I went break even basically right at the high of this at 1028, I think. Because at 1028, ES cleared the 4-hour external. So for me going into this trade, I was like, all right, I think if we're going to deliver the external here quickly, we're going to do it, you know, without retracing this far. So once we hit the external on ES, I was like, all right, I'm just going to go break even. Played a little safer here last day of the week, already a really good week. And also if we quickly tap back to the 5-minute, is not the 5-minute. My stop loss was here, right? So this red line here was the stop of that propulsion block trade, which as you will see is the 5-minute gap that we later retrace to and go higher. So that was also another reason to play an aggressive stop, because actually the place where my stop loss placed, if you look at the 1 minute, you're like, okay, yeah, that's a good spot for a stop. If you zoom out to the 5, you're like, that's literally the point in price that we could retrace to and still be valid for longs. So what I would have either had to do is slide my stop like down below here somewhere randomly and up my risk a shit ton, or just go break even. And yeah, I just went break even. That definitely seemed like the more logical thing to do. And yeah, I mean, really quick reversal back to break even here. This trade could have been really nice because it was only a 35-point stop loss, so I was actually in with 2 cons. So had we ran the external here, this would have been a $600 win, where I probably would have taken one off above here actually, and then one here, and it probably would have came out to more like 450. But still, that would have been very nice. I mean, this other trade here would have also been very nice. It would have been like 330 if we hit the external. But yeah, we reversed it around like 3.8R, like 10 points shy of the high. So that's just unfortunate, but that's how it goes sometimes. Nothing much to do about that, I think. Sometimes you just gotta accept that price is not quite gonna do what you think. Now, this is obviously just my other screen here. And since I'm kind of done for the week, now with this last recap, I'm actually just going to go ahead and quickly get rid of some drawings on these charts. And what I actually wanted to do is just quickly slide through. Okay, let's see if Tops of X works now. I have it open on Chrome here. So I'm going to quickly X that out on my other screen, because I managed to slide over to Google Chrome and then that was working. Yes, it's still not working on Safari. See, every time I load in, like you'll see there's no buying option here, and the chart's frozen wherever I load in. Like right now it's frozen at 29,711. So that was happening earlier too. So it's nice that we see that, but you'll see realized P&L around +1 are there. Yeah, break even now on the week. Should have honestly been +3. So slightly shitty executions here on my part. But to quickly postpone the sadness, it's actually funny. I basically have the same P&L on all my accounts today, right? Because I'm up 77 on the Tops accounts and I'm up 73 on the Lucid accounts, which these come from the trailed stop, right? Because I was risking 80. I trailed my stop to what was slightly under a 1-to-1, but basically a 1-to-1, and ended up getting stopped out there, as I mentioned, right? And yeah, my TP was, as talked about, resting at this high. Yeah, that's basically it. The accounts on Lucid have officially crossed 5,200 within 8 trading days now. this is definitely the best I've ever performed on any type of funded account, which makes not makes sense, but like yeah, it took a lot longer to get to 2K balance on any of my top step accounts. I mean, it's not like I've had a million of funded accounts, right? This is like literally my second stack since I'm trading them all in sync. It's kind of like my second funded account in a way. But yeah, as you can see here, what a week. I think it ends up at like 22.85 profit per account this week. And obviously, if we go back to last week, we had the really rough start to the account here. And then on from Friday last week, price action had cleared up a lot. And we really made use of that, especially Tuesday with that one micro that ran like 600 points or some shit. So yeah, I mean, really, really nice. I mean, if you really think about it, since it's 4 accounts, which by the way, bro, I'm so tight, not like that, but like I'm it's so annoying that literally the reason I only have 4 and not 5 is because my fucking credit card kept declining. Like the credit card company, I bought 2 Lucid accounts and then it declined, and I had to call them and like get my card free because they thought Lucid. I was talking to this German lady on the phone. She was, Lucid Trading? Sind Sie das? Ist das Ihr Kauf? And I was like, yeah, bro, that's mine. I bought it. She didn't believe I was actually doing the purchases. Like, they thought someone took my card and was like fucking scamming shit. And then I bought 2 more, and I went to buy the 5th, right? And it declined again. And I was just like, okay, fuck this shit. I'm just gonna rock with the 4. But yeah, I mean, had I had a 5th account, right, we'd be looking at a 5th 2K profit right now. But yeah, whatever. 4 accounts seems to be the way for me. Like, I have 4 accounts on Top Step. And I have 4 accounts on Lucid. So, hey, I guess 4 accounts instead of 5 is just like my lucky punch. Maybe it's low-key also a way to avoid getting moved live, like slightly quicker, having 1 account less. Who knows? But yeah, really good week, right? Unfortunate today. It could have been even better, like if we just deliver this external, right, either here or here. But nonetheless, I think for these Lucid accounts, initially coming into the morning after this first loss on the macro model, bro, I was also so fucking tired, and I took some caffeine like somewhere here and got some energy back. I don't know, I was so fucking tired. Which, I mean, I slept pretty well, so I don't know why, but yeah. Yeah, man, I mean, basically, I'm up 9K on the week on these accounts, right? If you add them all together, obviously, 2.28 across 4 accounts. And, bro, hello? Like, if you told me, you know, even like 6 months ago that you'd be up 2K in a week per account on fucking funded accounts, like on, you know, FX8, XFAs, which I mean, that's not what they're called for Lucid, but still, bro, that's crazy. Yeah, now we just need to get another 2K, and then we can rock out with a 8K payout. That'll be awesome. I can't wait. I mean, I hope next week we get clean price action. As long as we fuck around today, the rest of the day, we should have a pretty clear draw for the start of next week with those daily equal highs, which is kind of nice, right? Like, that's kind of awesome. So, yeah, man. Overall, I think we've got a lot to look forward to for the next weeks to come. You know, as we also approach fall, price action might increasingly actually improve as we, you know, get out of the summer months. Unless, like, the president, you know, good old Donny boy starts some fuckery again, which, honestly, now that I say that, the markets probably won't improve and we're just gonna bullshit again at some point because there's gonna be some stupid shit going on. But what are we going to do about it, right? Nothing. We're just going to hunker down and concentrate on executions, following rules, sound trading, and not being stupid with our risk, I guess. I don't know. Seems like a good idea to me. Yeah, also hopefully now honestly like from a, price action fulfillment perspective, I want this external taken. From like an egoistic perspective, bro, give me some more retracements. Like let's go down, let's sweep these relative equal lows next week, like on the open on Monday. And then let's get some diabolical, distributions of like 600 points into the daily equal high stack, right? Like let's save these equal highs for that, where we have like these 4-hour equal highs stacked below the daily equal high stack. You know what I'm saying? Let's do some shit like that. Watch next week. We're gonna do exactly that. I'm gonna catch that shit too. If we do. If we do, I'm in there. I'm in there like swimwear. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. Yeah, overall feeling decent on the week. Macro model executions were slightly lackluster. I think we're gonna have to hold ourselves accountable here over the weekend and kind of dig into that. But I also feel like as we kind of have this second outlet for my more discretionary trading, I have to find the right balance of still locking in for the macro model. And I think once I do, it will definitely help me because it's not the macro model is like everything I have. And I won't have to be as emotionally tied to results as I have become. Because I was doing very well for a while, kind of not being impacted by that, but like I was winning. You know what I'm saying? Now that I had my first losing month, obviously in July, right, on those accounts, and that was not pretty, man. Like I was getting really fucking mad at myself, at the charts. I was never like, full porting after that and doing some stupid shit. Like I'm more mature than that, of course, but yeah, just overall that still affected my performance in a negative way. And it's also just not what you want to do, right? Like I don't want to pursue trading full time if it's just going to make me like fucking pissed at myself every single day for the rest of my life. Like that's not any way to live, really. So I feel much more at peace after this week now with how these Lucid accounts went. So hopefully we can just carry that momentum going forward into next week. I don't know about next month. Month's just started. Into next week. And also, obviously, just this blissful state that we're in when it comes to just life, because university is on a break right now, right? Like, it's between semesters. I do have some exams late September. But, like, for now, all that I really have to do is go to the gym and trade, which is very nice, man. Right? Not a lot to do. I can focus fully on trading and a little bit of gym in the mornings. You know what I'm saying? So overall, very happy with that. Also, I've been in a deficit for the last 3 weeks, or maybe even 4 by now, like calorie deficit. Now that I'm talking gym, so that might actually be negatively impacting like my brain functionality, right? If I'm sitting here 3:30, hungry as fuck throughout the session, right? I feel like definitely, glycogen storages or whatever in my brain. Also, probably slightly impacted by that. So, maybe in like 2-3 weeks when I'm done with that and I'm back at like maintenance or whatever, that can even increase my performance a little. So I think overall, that's like fucking the wildest thought I've ever had. I don't know where that came from. Maintenance calories for better trading. You heard it here first. No, I'm joking. But yeah, anyway, with that being said, that's going to cap off this week. In a way, this is my best trading week ever, just purely number wise, right? Because even with the macro model, like we're break even on the week, but then on the other accounts we're up big time on the week. And I've never been up this much on a week, right? Like my best weeks were like, I think maybe like 600 per account on the top 6 accounts, which comes out to 2,400. So that's basically what I'm up on one account on Lucid right now. So I'm basically four times better than my best week ever before that. Now I've never really been the one to be like, oh, best week ever, best week this, best week that. I think it's kind of irrelevant, right? Like one great week is not going to be the difference maker. If next week is terrible, this week won't really matter. So we kind of have to keep this consistent. And from that point of view, I don't know how consistently I'm going to get trades where one of the contracts runs like 18R or whatever the fuck, right? Like on Tuesday, where one of the micros runs like what? 6 billion gajillion points. Like, I don't know, my entry was somewhere in this wick. And I got stop break even. Where did I get stop break even? Where did I get stop break even? Not here. Here. Yeah, like 500 points. So, yeah, anyway, that's probably not going to be every week thing. Definitely not. So yeah. But I think like trades like yesterday where we bagged like 5R, or today we almost hit a 4R trade again. Like those trades can be slightly more consistent. And also as we go, maybe upping risk, we'll also have the ability to take some more partials along the way, since we'll actually be risking more and being able to actually have like multiple contracts on and not just the one that I sometimes have. Like today, for example, the second trade, which was up like 3.8R, I think if I had multiple cons, I definitely would have partialed one, like at this intermediate term high, which would have been like 300 on the day instead of 70. So there's little differences like that, right? And 300 on the day, I mean, that would have been only like 1.8R since I would have been risking 2 cons or whatever, but still, that would have been nice. But yeah, other than that, I think now I'm just kind of yapping for yaps reasons, so I'm just going to end this here. Yeah, peace.